Hello and welcome back to my wholehearted living journey. Now, I have a confession to make today. I skipped out all of last week, and the reason for this is that the beginning of the week I was feeling very lost, I was feeling very confused, I was feeling very fed up, I was feeling scared, I think is the best way to describe it. And I needed to give myself some time to kind of process all the changes that I've been making lately, to process how I was feeling and really get back in touch with myself. So I spent a couple of days at the beginning of last week just letting myself feel, letting myself feel sad when feelings of sadness came up, anxious if the anxious feelings came up, angry. I went through the whole array of emotions. And doing that allowed me to then later on in the week actually get on with some work that I needed to get done, but really to identify what was going on. And often I would say we don't tend to give ourselves that grace. We don't tend to let ourselves feel. If you're anything like me, you were taught not to be sad. You were taught not to show your anger because that meant you'd lost control. And I think that actually at times we do need to get angry. We do need to let ourselves be upset. We do need to cry, because actually we are human beings and we need to feel that whole array of emotion. And when we repress that, it stays in our system. So whether you believe we're made up of energy or not, it stays in our system. It stays here. It's stuck. It doesn't pass through. We don't let it go. And so what generally tends to happen is those emotional experiences, that those sad experiences or those experiences when you got angry or frustrated or you had a fight with someone, those feelings or those memories kind of get trapped. And when you get a lot of those memories trapped, that's when things start to become hard for you. And what I've noticed is the more that I can let myself feel the whole broad spectrum of emotions, the actually more intense that I do feel all emotions. So it's not just that I will allow myself to cry and so I'll feel sad. I also allow myself, it gives more joy to my life because I feel that joy more intently, or I feel that happiness more intently when it happens. The excitement is greater. And so actually by allowing yourself to experience those, it's a much more rounded experience. And I think also then you can do it in a constructive way, because I think one of the things about anger and sadness and frustration is that actually we can be very destructive if we just let those emotions fester, if we let those emotions build up. For example, anger, if you let that build up, and say you're angry at a person and you let that anger build up and build up and build up, at some point it's going to come out. And it might not be at the person you were angry at. It might be that just someone triggers you. It might be that someone knocks over your coffee in a coffee shop and suddenly all of that anger just spills out of you. I don't know if you've ever had that happen. It's happened to me before. I was looking after a puppy and they knocked over a drink. And I just yelled, not at the puppy, but just yelled. I just was so angry. And afterwards I was like, what was that? Like, why was I angry? And actually, I was just angry because I wasn't in control of things. I was annoyed at where I was at. I was annoyed at myself. And so all of those things just piled up on top of each other. And that tends to be what happens. So last week, I just allowed myself to feel all those emotions. I allowed myself to go through that and feel what I was feeling and let those memories come up that needed to come up. Because actually, when you've been repressing things for a long time, sometimes there's old stuff that does actually need to come out, and it'll come out when it's ready and it'll come out when it's time. You can't really force these things. That's one of the big things I've learned. And so, as I say, I needed to just take that time to be with myself and allow myself to feel what I was feeling and deal with what I needed to deal with. And that those feelings still actually were rolling over today. And I'm starting to feel much better, but there's still a lot of anxiety there. There's still a lot to think about. There's still some fear around what I'm going to do next, and also fear of coming out of my comfort zone. If I'm really genuinely honest, that's one of the big things that's kind of holding me back, if you like. I was just talking about my inner critic again, and actually what I realized when talking about it is that it had moved to a much more prominent spot, i.e. in front of me. And that's why I was feeling so much angst. I was feeling so attacked because actually my inner critic is here yelling at me. And in talking about that and letting that go, that's allowed me to move that back and realize that I am actually in control. I can cope with my life. I am the leader of my life. And that actually, by allowing myself to be in control and to feel the feelings that come up, but not attached to them, and to think the thoughts that come through, but not attached to them, that allows me to actually experience life, but not hold on to it, and to be present and to enjoy the moment. So that's my plan for this afternoon, actually, once I finish this video, is to go and enjoy my time, to be present, to go and enjoy this feeling that I'm feeling. So right now I'm feeling much calmer, I'm feeling much more present, I'm feeling much more inspired. And so after doing this video, I want to go and I'm going to sit and feel inspired. So the thing that the question that I wanted to sum up for you is, do you let yourself feel all of the emotions that are available to you? And be genuine with yourself when you answer that question. Really dig deep and think, do I actually let myself feel all of these things? Or do I get angry and then beat myself up? Or do I get sad and call myself weak? Or do I get happy and then start to doubt everything and think, oh God, this isn't going to last. Oh, I've messed up. This isn't going to work. Or, oh, you can't be too happy, because if you're too happy, then everything else will go wrong. Think about what happens when you feel emotions. Do you have those thoughts attached to them? And just think about that. And that's my thought for today. Thanks for listening.